There's the old boat over there, the Razorbill, that's going to take us out to the ship. This is the jetty here at West Mersey. Radio Caroline began broadcasting in 1964. It was bought and owned by an Irishman called Ronan O'Rahilly, who had formed his own record company, but the BBC, who had the monopoly on everything back then, were refusing to play any of his records, so he decided to start pumping the music out himself.
Alright, fair enough. If that's okay. Yeah, no, if you don't do that, I'll start at the top of the bridge and work out.
We have arrived, pub pickers.
Yeah, okay.
This ship, the Ross's Revenge, began life in the 1960s as an Icelandic cod trawler named the Freya. It weighed in at 987 tonnes and was 73 metres long. The ship was sold to Ross Trawlers from the Ross Fish Company in 1963, and from then on it was operating out of Grimsby. The Ross's Revenge was involved in the Icelandic Cod War in the mid-1970s, culminating in it being dry docked by the end of the 70s as the British fishing rights were taken away by the common market.
We supplement it with wind and solar. There's a little wind generator out there and a couple of solar panels, but yeah, most of the power comes from that generator.
Yeah, whole diesel out for that presumably.
So when we were broadcasting from this ship properly, we were 20 miles out at sea. We were a long way out, and so we took some quite heavy weather at that time. Sort of secreted it from the bankers. He hid it in Cairn Ryan, in the breakers yard in Cairn Ryan. And it was when Caroline found that it was parked up behind the Ark Royal.
That's right. Yeah, there's pictures on the internet.
Yeah.
So what's the story with the guy who shot another one?
You're conflating several different stories. That was Reg Calvert, who was shot in 1966 by Major Oliver Smedley. He was the operator of Radio City, and Oliver Smedley wanted to take over his fort because he was operating from one of the Thames forts, and they'd all got nasty. That was nothing whatever to do with us.
Oh, right.
But yes, I'm familiar with the story. But no, that's not part of Caroline's history, thank you very much. We never shot people.
How many DJs do you have at one time?
Here, it's usually about 5. Back when we were at sea, I suppose, it would probably have been about the same. About 6 would have been ideal at the sea. It's because we were broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in those days, and so what you wanted was a crew of 6 disc jockeys, transmitter engineer, a couple of diesel engineers. Then you had the Dutch crew on top of that, maybe a cook. That was when we were at sea broadcasting. A man's got to make a living somehow. Yeah. Caroline is fun, but it didn't pay very well.
Right.
So I then spent 20 years working for, more. In the way, because if you see that anchor point just beyond the bollards, that's where the stays for the mast were anchored, or at least the stern ones. The mast was 300 feet tall. That mast was a toy, that's only 100 feet tall, so the original mast was 3 times that. So the crane...
At one stage there was 2 Radio Carolines, a north and a south, after Radio Caroline had merged with a Radio Atlanta, which operated out of a boat called the Mi Amigo, and that unfortunately sunk in 1980.
Room for the. So originally they used Gates turntables, didn't they? Because they were actually played upside down, apparently.
We start in about a quarter to an eighth of a turn. Gates, you really needed nearly half a turn. You go into the studio, do your program, and the first thing you had to do when you finished your program was file them away again so that they were available for the next person. Very important job. People got very cross if he didn't do it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Who chose to play this then? I thought the DJs.
And she went out with the
On smart speakers and around the world online, this is Radio Caroline North, 11 o'clock.
Radio Caroline North is sponsored by Turton Town Woodland Cafe, situated in a beautiful oasis of peace and tranquility in rural Lancashire.
They're all dead now, aren't they?
The song Autumn Almanac was a hit for which band? I suspect you probably know the answer. It's memories at radiocaroline.co.uk. If you want to send through a guess, I suspect you'll be right. If you are, you're going through our prize draw, 8:30 tonight. That's the time to be listening with Johnny to see if you're a winner here at Radio Caroline North.
This here is a second recording studio, and what the guy's doing here is a pre-recording a show which will be broadcast later. The first song ever played on Radio Caroline was on Easter Sunday 1964, and it was It's All Over Now by the Rolling Stones. Lots of different disc jockeys cut their teeth on Radio Caroline. People like Tony Blackburn, Dave Lee Travis, Simon D, and there was also the film which was loosely based on it, The Boat That Rocked. Anyone wishing to do the tour, if you go online and find the Radio Caroline website, you'll find the booking information on there about getting onto the ship. It's they seem to go most weekends on a Saturday and Sunday.